Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. Jota. And now that apparently Carlo Ancelotti it's about to sign back for Real Madrid, it's about to become again a coach of Real Madrid, according to the latest information that we have from Diario AS and Fabrizio Romano, who is also confirming that Carlo Ancelotti might step out of Everton and sign again for Real Madrid. Let me tell you what is my opinion, what is my take on this signing for the bench of Real Madrid, because as you probably can imagine, Carlo Ancelotti was not my favorite. And there's a reason for that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against Carlo Ancelotti, who I consider to one of the best coaches of Real Madrid ever had in the past. But the problem is that is not the option, is not the right choice for the Real Madrid 21-22. We have to revamp the mentality. And with that said, let me explain you really quick, what does that mean? In the modern days, in these days, nowadays, whatever you want to call it, the soccer we can see in every single match, the teams, the strongest teams we are seeing these days are very updated and very modern teams. It's a completely different soccer, the soccer we used to see when Carlo Ancelotti takes over the bench of Real Madrid back in 2013. Okay, so it's a completely different style of playing. It's a completely different mentality, and it's not only just about that. The other thing is squad management wise, or from a players management perspective, whatever you want to call it, is not either the right choice. So let me explain you really quick these couple points. Let me get started with the number one about the soccer nowadays and all the things why I do think that Carlo Ancelotti is not the best answer for Real Madrid. Okay, when it comes to modern soccer, we are seeing over the last 2 years, we have seen actually more powerful, faster, and super vertical and aggressive teams. For example, I'm talking about Bayern Munich, I'm talking about Chelsea, I'm talking about PSG. Teams that really win everything just because they are super vertical and they have players that are super offensive players, but also players that can be running back and forth all the time, and they have super optimal and extremely good physical condition. That is the soccer, or that is what soccer is all about in these days. You know what I'm saying? So the soccer that used to be back in the day, back in 2013 when Carlo Ancelotti takes over Real Madrid bench, it was a completely different world. In those days, soccer was about tiki-taka, short passes, and things like that. You didn't even need players in super optimal physical conditions. You know what I'm saying? We could see players from FC Barcelona, very short, players very weak, players when it comes to physiques and all the stuff, like Andres Iniesta, Xavi Hernandez, Eden Hazard, and players like that succeeding just because soccer was that way. But it's not that way anymore. Now we need bigger, stronger, and more powerful players for the squad. And in my opinion, Carlo Ancelotti will bring in a lot of bunch of players that are not in great and optimal physical conditions. I'm talking about, for example, Isco Alarcón, Marcelo, Hazard, and their future in Real Madrid. If Carlo Ancelotti takes over the bench of Real Madrid, in my opinion, he will try to use them again and get their best for Real Madrid. But in my opinion, there's nothing we can do about these players. Other than put them in the market and sell them. That's it. That is all what we have to do with them. But considering that Carlo Ancelotti, mentality-wise, is very close to Zinedine Zidane, very flexible. He tries to get along with every single player. He tries to be, to cultivate and and grow the human relationships among the club, within the players, in my opinion, Carlo Ancelotti is that way. So he will try to recover the best version of these players for Real Madrid. And in my opinion, what needs to happen is that a coach, a completely different coach with another mentality, push forward and push hard to these players, whether to change or leave the club. And Antonio Conte is exactly that profile of coach. Is the kind of coach we need, just because we need a coach more updated to the modern soccer. That is number one. Well, and number two, it was what I was talking about Marcelo and Isco and Hazard and all the stuff. That is number two. So what needs to happen as well is that a coach that like Antonio Conte or any other can say very clear things to different players in order for them to get the best version on one side, or on the other hand, to leave the club. I mean, we need a coach who really push hard to these players and say, hey, no, I'm not going to count on you anymore because you are not in an optimal physical condition, and you don't deserve to play in this team. That is the kind of coach we need now. You know? We don't need more time. We don't need more chances for, Eden Hazard, Isco, Marcelo. These guys are done in Real Madrid. They are completely out of shape. They don't give the team what the team is really in need. That is number two. And the third thing is that there are much better options out there for Real Madrid when it comes to different players and signings than these players. So if we are going to get back to 2013 with the same players, with the same mentality, with the same formation, with the same all the stuff, I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that. And in my opinion, Real Madrid is committing a very huge mistake. And in the future, we will probably regret about this decision. Because again, if you said that, well, the other reason is why you said no to a possible return or comeback from Cristiano Ronaldo, but you said yes to a return of Carlo Ancelotti, who already coached to Real Madrid in the past. I mean, Florentino said that makes no sense for Cristiano Ronaldo to get back, but now he's saying yes to a coach who, in my opinion, will be very easily to manipulate, especially when it comes to the relationship with the press, which is very problematic when it comes to Real Madrid, of course. And in my opinion, Florentino is signing this coach just because he's a very easygoing guy, and he will be able to manipulate him like he wants. I don't know. In my opinion, this is a very, very huge mistake we are committing. So if we sign to Carlo Ancelotti, I don't think that is the answer Real Madrid should give for our current, problems, for our project in the future and all the stuff. So I don't know what is going to happen, but apparently, let me tell you, that Carlo Ancelotti is closer than expected, and he might sign for Real Madrid even today. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course, subscribe to my channel, Real Madrid Hub.